The last video introduced you to tense as an important part of writing in academic contexts. We say that there are three main types of tenses: the past, the present, and the future. These three main tenses can be expressed in terms of four aspects, which are simple tense, continuous tense, perfect tense, and perfect continuous tense. In this video, I am going to walk you through how to use the different types of tenses in the different sections of an academic paper. Now, tense communicates time, and verbs are the primary indicators of tense. Therefore, the conjugation patterns of verbs express time. Academic writing uses mainly the present simple, the past simple, and the present perfect. In the abstract section of your research paper, use the simple past. For example, an interview was conducted, participants were sampled, findings indicated that, or the evidence showed that. Conducted, sampled, indicated, showed are all verbs in the past simple. In the introduction section of your research paper, there are a number of key elements that should be considered. Generally, the introduction section of the research paper uses an interchange of the present and past tense. The introduction section begins with an introductory sentence, and this introductory sentence should be written in the present perfect. For example, studies of education for sustainable development in Zambia have led to numerous changes in the education system. After the introductory sentence, the writer or the researcher will establish the background or the purpose of the study. For example, the focus on quality education holds the highest number of publications. This is written in the simple present. When the background or purpose has been established, then the writer or the researcher will give a statement of fact. For example, in Zambia, gender equality is the most funded study area. So the introduction provides the context of the study in the form of the use of the present tense, where the writer or the researcher will say, performance in physics among diverse learners is interesting to note. The researcher also may include a short section where they review the literature for that particular study, and the simple past or the present perfect tense will be used in this case. For example, Simpande 2025 found that or discovered that girls perform better than boys in English. Another example, Simpson and others 2024 have discovered that 62% of students miss class. In the introduction, the researcher will also state the gap that they wish to fill in the study. They may indicate also what the researcher plans to do in their current study. So the gap may be stated using the present perfect tense by saying, for example, little research has been done on the mental health of lecturers in universities, or few studies have reported on the mental health of lecturers in universities. Another example could be, there has been a lack of attention on lecturers' mental health in many universities. So the gap that the researcher identifies can be expressed in terms of the present perfect tense. In the introduction, the researcher also talks about the aim, the hypothesis, and or the research questions that they are going to address. These are stated in the simple present tense. For example, this study aims to evaluate the education degree programs in Zambia. Or the objectives of this study are, and they'll be stated A, B, C. As you can see here, in the introduction section, the simple past or present perfect form the basis for discussing the key elements of the introductory section of a research. To recap, The present tense is mainly used to discuss what is true or what is current. The simple past is used to talk about previous studies, especially in the literature review. The present perfect is normally applied when time and location are unknown. For example, where the researcher states that previous studies have demonstrated or have shown that. So the use of the words demonstrated or shown that indicates the present perfect. Sometimes the past perfect may also be used in the introduction, where something happened in the past, but there have been changes since then. Then the past perfect will be the most appropriate tense to use. For example, in 2000, Sampa and Simpande had concluded that oral presentations cause anxiety among students, but Victor 2018 found that this is not the case. In the methodology section, the past tense is used, and most importantly, the use of the passive voice. For example, 2 participants were selected from each group. Another example, Bandel's 2020 framework was followed to group the themes. Another example, an ANOVA test was used to assess the differences between the means of class A, B, and C. Another example, the attitude scale by Nyambe 2012 was adapted for this study. So in the methodology section, normally the past tense is used in the form of the passive voice. The results section of the research paper will use the past tense. For example, the results indicated that 6 out of 10 boys smoked marijuana in 2024. However, in the results section, when you are describing the diagrams or images that you have used in your paper, use the present tense. For example, Figure 1 shows that females perform better than males. Table 2 indicates that there is no relationship between X and Y. In the next video, I'll take you through the types of tenses to use in the discussion and the conclusion section of your research paper.